Hi and welcome to How to Use CAD. My name is Tom Norris and today we're going to create a tutorial for creating elevation plans from photographs. Now I've got a brief for a project in Canterbury and it's house front, and what I want to do is create an elevation plan from this particular house front. Now as you can see, I'm using Google Maps here, Street View, and you got to be a little bit careful with the Google Maps because sometimes the photos are dragged a little or not out of scale or not in scale and so on. So you got to be a little bit careful. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to create an elevation plan, an elevation drawing from this particular photo. So stay with me and let's see how we do it. Right, here we are. So we've got the street view up. As you can see, it's not the prettiest building in the world. So let's use a particular tool, a little friend of mine here, for getting the photo. So to do that, I'm going to use a snipping tool. I'm sure you've seen a snipping tool before, and I've just taken the photo a few moments ago. So now I'm going to save it, save as. Save it 47 Canterbury, replace it, yes. So now I've got a photo. So what I do now is I move from Google View to TurboCAD View. Now I think I'm in the mood to do the dark theme on TurboCAD today, so I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Options and Styles and Themes. I'm going to use the default mode. There you go, take your time. Yeah, default mode for this particular lesson. Right, so we're going to insert a photo, insert a picture from a file, and let's see if we can find it. So it's in downloads, and it's 47 Canterbury Road. So bring the photo in, let it, just drag it, and it'll come up. So right, there we go. Now as you can see, I've got the grid off today, and certainly not the prettiest photo I've seen. Not square, leaning back, leaning to the side. So it's a pretty tough one to have to come up with an elevation from, but it is doable. So I'll show you. I mean, in all honesty, it's probably a good idea that it is a bad one, in the sense that it's more difficult than normal because the photograph isn't square. I did try to get it more square using Street View, and that wasn't possible. The next, well, the other way you'd get the nice square photograph of an elevation is from doing a site visit and charging £250, £300 for it. So we're trying to avoid all that. So let's see what we can create using skill, intelligence, and loads of experience. So first off, plan is not to scale. So let's try and make a calculation as to what the height is, or the width, but we only need to have one to scale the photos up. So if I start looking at the step up into the shop, that's about 300 mil. So I'm going to start calculating here. And I'm writing the measurements on a little pad here. So we have 300. Bear with me. So 300 up to the interior of the shop, which is, you know, behind this bar here. You can see there's a couple of steps here. So it might even be 4, but let's assume 300 for now. Then we got a standard, reasonably standard door, about 2000 mil. So that's 2000 for the door, 300 for the step. Then we got a fan light above, which is curved, looking about 500, plus the thickness of the frame. So let's say 600. And then we have bricks. So Layers of bricks. Now I'm going to use an external piece of software for that. You just have a quick look. So what I do is I open the photo in another package, and this time I can blow it up, so I can usually count the number of bricks, which will help me to get an idea on what the height is. So if we do it in stages, I'm going to measure from there to there, as in how many bricks. I'm looking offline now, so I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 courses of bricks from there to the bottom of the sill. Now, anyone know the height of a brick? Well, it's 75 multiplied by 18, which is 1350. Each brick being 75 mil. Now I'm going to count to here, from there to the bottom of the sill. So I'm going to do that in the other graphics pack. So you have to bear with me. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. I'm looking at 32. So this time it's 75 times 32, and it's 2.4. 2.4 being from there to the bottom of the sill. So it's like anything, you break it down and you've got a better idea. But you do have to break it down. You can't just go, okay, that's 7 meters, etc., etc. So now I'm going to have a little look, and we're going to try and measure from the arch, top of the arch here, to the bottom of the sill again. So if I, let me just bring this in to make it more interesting for you. If I enlarge, that should be over here, so the photograph is a bit bigger. So can you work that out? Not the easiest thing in the world, but as a guide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, let's say 14 from there to the bottom of the sill, top of the arch. So now that's where I'm getting my numbers from. So it's 14 at 75. 75 times 1,4. That's another 1.050. So we're getting there. And now the actual window itself here. So again, I'm going to have a little look in the external piece of software. And that's coming back at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, at 27. So 75 times 27 equals, so I got that wrong, 0.75 multiplied by 27, it's 2 meters. That window is not 2 meters, it just can't be. So I'm going to go back and check that again. That's a short window. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's call it 23. So 75 times 23 is 1725. That's more realistic. So let me make a note, 1725. So now we know the stage. That's almost up to the end of the edges of the apex. So there's only, if we check that, let me just go back, check here. That's about 3 bricks. If you take the brick line here, say 2 or 3, call it 2 in between. So 2 bricks would be 150. So right, let's see where we're going here. Now, that's what we're trying to measure now from this point here. We put a line on there so you see what I mean. I'm trying to measure from there, from here, up to the top of that apex. So I'm going to do it on the other piece of software. Let's see how many bricks we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 to the bottom of the window here. 75 times 18 equals 1350. So let's say 1350. And we've got the little window up again, which is probably about the same again. It looks about halfway up. So let's call it 1350. And then we got about 300 for the apex timber. So that's it. So now let's see how we get on here when we apply these numbers. So we need to start somewhere. So from the bottom of the shop. Well, that's not helping, is it? There'll be days like this. That's what they say. There'll be days like this. Right. Okay, that's the lower line. So from that, 300 up to the interior, up to the floor height inside. Tab 30. Do it again. Tab 300. It's a short measurement. Oh yeah, so I should ignore the photograph now and just do a count. So let me just do a count. 300 plus 1350 plus 1350 plus 150 plus 1725 plus 1050 1350 600 plus 2123 plus 30. So 10.175. That's what I'm getting when we add up all the measurements. So 10.175. So let's try this out. Tab 10.175. Please. Tab 10.175. That's the measurement now. So you can see there's a bit of scaling to be done here. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw the line from here, just draw from the middle there, and we go to the top. That's our line, and it should be 10.170. And what we've got down here is 43 meters. So 10.1700. You can see the scale. That's what the scale is. I hope you know how to do all this. So now we click on the image again. We're going to rescale it. I've already shown everybody how to do this in a previous tutorial. So if you don't know how to scale the photograph, then you're in trouble. Because this is how we do it. Right. I'm going to start fresh now. And let's see if we do a little better this time. Right, this photograph should be reasonably on scale. So we're going to go 10.175. That's in 10 meters, 175. 10.175. Tab 10.175. We're miles out. So what are we doing wrong here? 10.175. Right, so that line needs to be 10.175. Is it? No, I think we're out major. So I do 10.175. Scaling needs to be changed. Click off. Click the photo. And watch the photo shrink. There you go. Now we're on. Now we're sorted. Got the scale right at last, more or less. Right, so we'll try again. You can see how it's all trial and error. This is what they pay you for. This is why you're earning the big bucks, because you got to check, 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 check. Right, the first step on the ladder was 300 up to the floor height inside. Tab 3. So this is the floor height inside. Then it was the top of the door, 2 meters. Tab 2, 1, 2, 3. 2 meters. Then we had 600, which was the fan light above, the circular fan light. Tab 600. And after that, it was 1350 to the bottom of the window. Tab 1350, bottom of the window. And then we had 1050. No, that wasn't right. The previous number was to the top of the canopy, and then the canopy to the bottom of the window is 1050. So it's another tab 1050. That's to the bottom of the window. And the window itself was 1725. Tab 1725. And above the window, I'm showing 13. No, yeah, it was. In fact, I'm showing 150 to the bottom of the apex boards. So I allowed 150. Tab 150. And then I have another measurement of 1350. Tab 1350. That takes me to the top of that little window. And after that, we're going to go to the bottom of the arch window, which is 1350. 1350. Do that again. Tab 1350. And then to the top of the apex, it's 1350. Tab again, and then we allowed another 300. Tab 3. There you go. That should drag across. As you can see, the allowances are a little bit out, but let's see what happens when we put it together. Now you're actually seeing just how complicated it is to do a photograph from a photograph that's not square or in good nick to create plans from. So let's see what we can do here. So right, floor height. I think what we're going to try and do now is get a width going. Now the width should be easy enough. The photograph is reasonably scaled. I say reasonably. It's scaled, put it that way, and it's not too far out. So if I was to draw a line from there, so it just needs to nudge it over just a touch, a little touch back, and now draw a line from around here. That should be more or less the width, but we'll soon find out. So now, let's get the baseline right. Baseline. This is the floor levels inside. Dotted line, that's what we do to represent that. We put it into a light color so that the planners know what it is. This is the front door. Well, we know that. I've checked on that, and that's 3 bricks wide. So that's 775. So 775 there. Tab 775. So you really do need to know your numbers here. Now the next bit is the width of the door. So anybody know the width of a front door? Well, normally it's about 30 inches. That's a standard door. But on the front door, on a house like that, it would more than likely be 32 inches, which means 812 wide. But we've got a door frame, which is 2.5 inches either side. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it 950 for the width tab, 950. And I think that will be more in keeping. And you have to bear with me now. This is one of the hardest ones I've done, because it really is, you think, oh my god, are we really able to do this? Yeah, we can do it. And then reasonably accurate. It's basically going to be representative of the building, which is, at the end of the day, is what we're trying to achieve here. Just put that back into dots. And I'm going to make it a light grey. Light grey, that's fine. So the reason I've done that is that the sill needs to be a solid line. So now an average sill, I'm going to do 50mm, tab 50, and we're going to do the, stay using the parallel tool to bring in and create the door frame, tab 50, and then we want to do this one, tab 50, and tab 50. Okay. Trust me, it's coming together. I've had tougher jobs than this. Believe it or not. Right, so that's going to be the door sill, and this one's going there. Now we have, if I remember correctly, we have a canopy above, or a fan light above, which is curved, and that's the that's up to the top of the canopy. So basically, let's get the bit of quadrant here. Create a semicircle. Do it right this time. Get rid of the bigger one, and let's see if we can do this the easy way or the lazy way. So put a D on there. Mount that one here. This one's got to come over. This one's got to come down. If you've never done this before, then I'm sure you're enjoying there's a lovely learning curve here. But the one thing that it's spewing is difficulty. Everything is difficulty. You're having to use loads of judgment calls here on this now. So we need two, of course, because it's got a frame. So how do we do that? Simple. Just Control C, Control Paste. This one, we're going to need to do a little bit more work on it. Believe it or not, it might look easier, but in fact this is a different tool altogether. Right, that good? It's fine, but now we got to chop this bit. It's not a question. If we make the semicircle smaller by shoving this up, by, for example, shoving that up, if I remember correctly, it goes out of frame. So let's see what I mean. I do that. That looking reasonable? Actually, it is, so I'm going to go with it. Good enough for what I'm doing here, for the sake of the lesson. Yeah, that's fine. And this one is not fine. Now, what was the door in the photograph? What did that look like? Let's have a peep. Wow. I'll be there for half an hour designing a door like that. So when it comes to doors like that, you have two choices. You'd put in your own door, which is a pretty basic door, because we're doing a basic elevation plan. We don't need to do the door absolutely the same, but probably, like I say, you either design it and waste half an hour or so doing it, or you have a little look in maybe archives. So let's have a look in archives, and I'm going to see if I've got anything on doors that is absolutely similar. Right, so if we're going to do doors elevation, have a look at this one, see what kicks in. Well, there you go. It would be, nearest one would be this one. So if I just copy that one and put it back in here. Wrong one. There we go. Let's have a little peep. How's that? That's a pretty decent looking door, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Okay, well, let's see what we can do with it down here. So that door is actually with a frame, so we don't need a frame, so we need to split it. So it's as one unit, so we use the explode tool. Now we'll be able to remove the door frame. And there we go. We might have to change that, but let's have a little peep. Let's drag it in. In fact, looking a bit small, so oops, daisy. Don't want to do that. Let's put the D on. And what we do now is stretch it over, and I don't need a door handle, so let's lose the door handle. What do you say? Yeah, why not? Now that's a blinking good door, isn't it? Way too good for a job like this, but there you are. So starting to see the resemblance yet? Absolutely not. Right, how high do you think this is, the actual bottom of the windowsill to the bottom of the door? 400? Let's try it on 400 and see how we do. Tab 4. And incidentally, that's the door to the flats above rather than the door to the shop. So I'm going to have to do the door to the shop in a minute. So we'll do these. Windowsill tab 50. That's wrong. Tab 50. Right, so door, smack bang in the middle of those two bits, and that one is in about 300. So if we come in 300, come in 300, tab down like so, and here it's quite close, but we're going to go. Make it look nice. 300 again. So we know that the center would be the door. Center is here. So this door we're going to make it 800. Tab. I don't need to do it that way. I'll find an easier way of doing it. So we use the parallel lines. Tab 400. Tab minus 400. That's 800. Should we do a little door frame? Parallel lines again. Tab minus 50. Tab 50. Right, we're getting the picture here. Got an 800 door frame, and we're going to have to bring these in. So let's bring these in. Where are we on heights? Heights about 400 above. Wow, yeah, that is tall, isn't it? It's about 400 above the arch. Tab 4. There we go. So that's to the actual windowsill. Really that tall? I guess it is. It's got a break. Nope. Big tall pieces of glasses. 2 fan lights above the door. Wow. Pull that in. Pull this one in. So what we do with the sill to give it a bit of authenticity, can we do that or not? Yeah, we can, because the windows are three-sided, which means that you can see what's in the window from all 3 sides. You know, I couldn't have picked a harder shop front to do. Many of the shop fronts I do are just so simple, and this isn't one of them. So that means it's going to be it's a much better learning curve than was anticipated. So if I go tab 50 again, yeah, you're getting a real good demo for such a simple project. And by all means, stay with me and let's see if we can get a proper shop front out of this before the end of the lesson. Yeah, or a proper elevation. I've never seen any videos like this, so the opportunity to learn, because I remember whilst I was learning, I did look, of course I did, I looked in YouTube for videos for Turbo and anything else, you know, CAD, etc., etc. And I wish I could have found files like the one I'm creating just now, because that would have been really useful, that I can tell you. Right. Now let's see how that looks over there. Yep, and the door goes down, so the door goes lower. Gosh, it's a tall door as well. Talk about trial and error. That's exactly what it is. Starting to see anything that resembles the shop front just yet? It'll come. What I would say to you is sometimes, you know, we get jobs like this, and it's sometimes you get caught. And what I mean by that is that you put a price in, and then perhaps you were in a hurry and you didn't look as close as you should have done, but you realise bloody work on it is way more, or 100% more than what you kind of considered it might be. Right, so we got a door frame sitting in here, and we know that this is the floor height. So we put the floor height for the threshold for the door. Let me just put that back. I always like to get your floor height, very useful to get it and to have it and make sure it's accurate. So light grey, those little dotted lines are gold, that's what they are. Now that's your door threshold. So we have a threshold 50 mil, tab 50, and we're going to do a 75 mil door frame because of the sills I put in just now. So if we do tab 75, that go the other way. Sure it did. Tab minus 75, and this one would be tab 75. So now what we do is come on down, and now we're getting access to the door. So if I look and I say it's extra tall, I say the door is about 2.2. Let's see what 2.2 looks like. I'm still in the wrong tool here. Tab 2200. Yeah, that looks about right. So this is the actual door. Goes all the way across. And we need to go down 70. I think that was up, was it not? Tab, yes, 70. Door is tall enough without me adding to it. Okay, don't need the center one. Right, how are we doing here? There's one tall door. So we need the bottom one, the bottom bar. Tab 70. And there's a step here. Right, there's a step here which we have to deal with. So let's keep it simple. Do a step that's midway. Thickness of the step, about 60 inches. Or 60, no, not 60 inches, about 60 mil. So if we go tab minus 60. Okay, that's good enough for a step. Right, we got a door. Now let's have a look. It's in two sections, so we're going to divide this up. So again, try and keep it as accurate as we can. So we're looking at about 50 mil on the framework. Down we come. So let's get on with it. This window is more or less in line there, give or take. So we're going to do that. And right, so that's the bottom of the bay window. What's the mistake here? It's the bottom of the bay. Something not quite right there, and that's the window itself. Yeah, so let's come on down here. Let's get rid of that. So except this one is a little bit lower. There we go. Now what about the width here? Yeah, again, it seems to be central to the doorway. So right. So the stone sill is always about 50 mil wider. So we're doing the stone sill here. Yeah, it's the sum of the parts. I mean, in the sense that tab 50, the little bits here and there, it all adds up to the final drawing that looks kind of detailed and smart. And that's where we are with it. Right, now this window was quite tall. So what are we here? It was, I remember correctly, it was, we had it down at just around 2 meters. So it's certainly not that tall. So tab 2, 1, 2, 3. So here we go. Now I made a mistake when I was doing this earlier, so I'm going to try and rectify that mistake now. See how I came in here? That was too high. Now, that's about right, give or take. So the top of my windows, yeah, that's about right. This is is it an arched window? Oh blimey, it's another arch. And it's certainly, so what does it say here, 9, so let's make that 800. And it'll jump in both ways. Let's make this one 900. It'll jump in both ways. So we're fine. We'll do our arch in a minute. I'm wondering how many of my YouTubers, my subscribers, or people who watch my videos will actually stay with me for the duration of this one, because it's dragging out, but it's a good thing. Right, let's get this little baby up. I'm going to do another semicircle here. Let's do the widths first, more or less. Just doing that by eye for a moment. And let's see what it was. 802, which means 401 height. You have to watch the inspector bar down here when I'm moving things around. Not close enough. So move that up. Now I know I'm reasonably accurate for a semicircle. Let's have a look, nearly at the top. Alright. Bring that down. Look at that, a perfect match. Put a D on it. There you go. That's your window. Amazing, it doesn't look right when you're far out, but it's smack on when you're inside. Right, so if we come across, we're going to do the broad stuff first. It needs to go back up just a touch. There you go, about there. Right, let's find this bay, or the center of the bay. See what we're going to do with it. I'm looking at the lines on the top of this circle, and so on and so forth. So we're about so. Right, now if we can find the centre of the bay, that'd be good. Any point in going up? Let's see where that would be. It's the middle of the door. Let's see if it's the middle of the door. Don't know where I went there. So the centre of the bay is not the middle of the door. That's for sure. It would be to the right of the door by about 200. So let's work on that and we can move it over in a minute. And once we get the bay done, we can move it over as we need to. Right, height of the bay is here. And that first one, I'd say about 900 of glass, which would mean 450 either side of this line. Tab 450. Tab minus 450. We good? Let's check that. Check the lines. Looking reasonably accurate. Right, we do tab minus 50. Go again. Tab minus 50. Tab 50. Get rid of the center line. What's happening with the sill here? It's just a wooden sill, 50 mil. Tab 50. Yep, so we need another chunk here. We need another tab 50. Tab minus 50. The corners on the bay will always be a double. Let me get rid of that, shouldn't be there. Yeah, generally always on a double because it has to be substantial because it's holding up the window, remember? So if I look at that again, we're going to do the 500 again for the other side of the window, tab 500. And then we do a 40 for a little frame, tab 40. So now we do tab 500. Oops, that should have been a minus, so we have to undo that. Tab minus 500 and then tab minus 40. Yeah, we're looking right. And let's come out another 40. Now let's make it 50. Let's celebrate. Or use up all our lines. I don't think so. Right. So we're coming out 50. Up, down. Basically doing the sills. So on these old windows, generally it was a hardwood sill. And they lasted quite some time. Let's look at the heights again. Heights are just about right. So what we need here is tab minus 50, and we need tab 50. So yeah, the hardwood sills they lasted indefinitely, and you know, you could repair and repair and repair, which is a wonderful thing. But I would imagine that by now most of these things have come to the end of their natural life. If it you know, most of the original windows, they would be pretty wrecked by now. That's for sure. 120 years old, British weather, definitely. Right. I'll fix that in a moment. Right, for now. So the next time you look at a little elevation plan and you think nothing to it, just remember, a lot of time goes into creating these plans. Elevation plans, some of the ones I've done, you know, just for a straightforward elevation, can take days and days simply because of the amount of detail. We do quite a bit of work in central London, listed buildings, really beautiful looking properties in Knightsbridge, Kensington, etc. And the level of detail is just unbelievable. And because of that level of detail, they take, you know, 3 times longer than a regular home might take. Put it that way. Don't need that one. Because of all the ornamental stonework, that's the killer. That's what uses up your time. Doing the ornamental stonework. And there's no easy way to do it. What I have seen over the years is I have seen the original plans for Victorian houses, you know, done by Victorian architects or Victorian draftsmen. Good Lord, the amount of detail. Can you imagine all that pencil work, rubbing out and rubbing out. But that's what I've seen, and that's how they were done. All these beautiful ornamental houses. All these beautiful houses with loads and loads of ornamental plasterwork and so on. These were all done. With. Let me just focus on this. By hand and with pencils. Tab 50. We're back to this thing again. Tab 50. Tab 50. Tab 50. Tab 50. Tab 70. Tab 70. That'll do it. Right. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Hey. Let's make a mirror image of this one. Come on back here. You should be getting the hang of this now. I've done it a few times. I think I've done it already on this particular video. So you got no excuse. You now know how to do the mirror image for almost anything. So that's it. So let me check where we should be here. Yeah, with the barge board. So that's actually click off of that one. That's it. Right, getting there. We're going to do this window in a little bit. Tell you why, because 2 windows up top now, they're basically the same as this. They're just shorter. So we're going to do those in a bit. But right now, the bay is, you can see how this is going. So let's go up. Tab 300. That would be nice. If you've stayed the course, I think you might actually appreciate how this is going to look by the time I finish it, because it's going to look quite smart. You think it's going to look a lot smarter than the photograph we're using to do it with. Now let's get a little look at that. Right, so what we're going to use here is we're going to use a curve. Take off ortho. To make sure it's exact, I would rather mirror image again. And drag it over rather than try to do another one. I might just be out a little. And when it comes to shapes and lines, I get very fussy. Now we don't need this anymore, or that one. Right, where are we here? There's a little band there. I won't bother with that. I'm going to come down just a touch as it suggests. Right. So we've got a 90 sill, tab and 0. So these are the sills. This is the sill lines, a concrete sill. Oh, actually it's not concrete, it's made of York stone, believe it or not. And very heavy, and it lasts for donkeys of years, which is testament. Well, you can see why it lasts for donkeys of years. Now we're going to have to get a center line here. So center line, let's assume, is, well, it's pretty easy actually. Let's just pull that across here. We'll come down to this here. Don't need that one. And let's pull that across. What we have to do is we have to make the apex. And to get the apex, you need to have a straight line here, and then you need the center. And I'm going to put a little line up from the center. Make sure, let me just make sure there's no broken lines there. Nope. That's fine, so that's the center. Now if I find my window heights here, that's my window heights. No, it's not quite right, is it? These are the window heights, and then we've got a big space. That's more or less the line, so yeah, not right. So we need to go up more. Need to go up to about there. Take those out. So this is the top of our windows. Are they a little taller than that? Let's have a look. About 1.5, just 1.6 or 1.5. What's this? 1.3. So I think the windows might go up to there actually. Make them a little taller. I'm going to get away with that. So that's the two top windows. And then we have the little porthole. So let's make sure this is accurate first. Yeah, accurate enough. So if we come down from the apex, put a little window in. Well, we know the window isn't that big. So let's see, 900, of course not. It's about 400. Tab. So there you go. It's a bit lower down. It's about there. Even lower still. About there. Okay, getting there. And these windows are more or less center now. So if I stop that line there, get rid of this one, and let's assume I come out 900. window starting just to the, that's not bad actually, tab 900. So the window is here, window is there. Right, let's do a short version of this window. We might as well make the window first, don't you think? Might be wiser. I'm going to copy it, copy a full window. Right, tab -40. Tab 40. And that's just the outer edge for the box frame. This is actually a box frame that's in here. And you need to know your windows. Tab -40. Tab -40. Oh no, there was no minus on that one. That's just tab 40. And yeah, you can see the issues we're going to have up here. It's going to be so much fun. Let's see. Control B. See how it works? Right, we're going to have to come down 40 to make it work. Tab 40. And then tab 40. That's the way it works. It comes to here. To get the small stuff. And there we are. Right, looks weird, but it will look fine in a little while. Now let's see where the proportions are. So yeah, the top half of the sash is taller, so we're not doing a 50-50 here, which would be about there. So let's not do that. I'm going to do it there. It's not a lot out, but it is out. So tab 40. Right, let's again get the select tool. That one goes to there, and this one goes to here. If you've never done a sash window before, then this is a good little learning curve for you. In fact, over the years I've been on project management, hundreds and hundreds of projects, maybe even thousands, and the reality is I've seen designers make these, take them apart, and maintenance, changing the weights and all that, so I know exactly how these things are made up of. So tab, give it 100 at the bottom. And I'm very familiar. So the thing is, when you're doing drawings and you're doing, period property, you really kind of need to know the sizing of the windows. Like this is the bottom sash here, but I know the side bars, I know roughly what the sizes are, the actual framework within the box to hold them. Now this window passes behind the top one, so I know the sizing. Now this was a Victorian, which means we need a line down the middle, correct? Yeah, I don't bother with the double bar here. We don't need that level of detail, but we just need one bar. And that one bar will get the job done. And now, so what we do is we take a copy of that, and we're going to shrink it. All but the bottom bit. Take that off. That good? What we do is pull it back down again. What was that little piece there? Right, So that was the sill, so we need to go up, do it by hand this time, go up 40 to create a wooden sill that sits on top of the stone sill, and the box actually cuts into that like so. Not that one, this one. Here we go, and then we need to go up 100 here. Tab 1. And cut across. Get rid of my little line. That's the Victorian split. Or it's called the centre bar. So there you go. We need the concrete sill, the stone sill. Tab 5. Oh. Here we go. Right, so now we don't need that or that. So all we need is a copy here. And we're going to put it on the center here. That'll do me absolutely fine. So let's have a look. Yeah, you get it. And the apex starts a few up about here. So we go 50 mil out, tab 50, and tab 400 up. We're nearly there. Be celebrating our ordeal. Tab 50, tab 400. Beautiful. Right, bring this back down. Yeah, if you've never done an elevation from a photograph, this is one hell of a learning curve. And take off the ortho. Take a line to there, take a line to there, and gone. So now we come down 350, tab minus 350, tab minus 350. Right, so let's close these properly. Using the N, I'll take off right, now what are we doing? Well, let's drag this down to there, shall we? That's looking right. Now, let's see what's missing. This bay window. What have we got wrong with the bay window? Section it. So that's got casements built in. Casements are the small windows at the top. Oops-a-daisy, we don't want that. So we put on ortho. My goodness, what's happening here? Yeah. Just do the center one. And see how much we're using the parallel lines. Tab minus, I think we'll do 40 again. or 0 on that. Yeah. So I kind of cheat here. I bring 2 down, drop them off. How are we doing there? Good. Nearly there. 5 more minutes, I think, and we've wrapped it up. So we bring this one down, make it stick. So as you can see, I mean, we're at this for about an hour plus, an hour and a bit. Now you're going to have a little bit of respect for the amount of work that goes in just to make an elevation plan from a photo. But how you got to look at it is, in the time it's taken us to do the photo, that's about the equivalent of driving to someone's house and taking photographs. So what I'm saying to you is, it's a real time saver, what we've just done. And if you know, because it's not rocket science or anything, it's a reasonable representation of what the house actually looks like. So let's just start at the top. Yeah, we got the apex. It's got a little spike here. I'm not going to bother my bum with that. So 2 windows, a Victorian. We got a Victorian long one. Windows the same. Over here, shop front. Now, to me, we're done. So if I wanted to emphasize brick here, we can do the walls in brick, and I could do the windows in blue. I can do all of that, but not for this job, because it's already taken a considerable amount of time. And it's purely an elevation plan, simply because someone's going to change, say, this window, and they're going to change it for a window that looks absolutely identical. It probably has a rotten sill and they're changing it, and they're putting in what's known as like for like. So there will be absolutely no discernible difference on the final product. Okay, so now you've seen how it's done. You've seen how we take a rubbish photo from Google Street View of a really boring house, and we turn it into an elevation plan that's actually fit for purpose. Now that's actually on a scale of 1 equals 100, and that goes into a plan with the architect box and so on and so forth, and that's absolutely fine. Now from that, if we wanted to, we could actually do side elevations and rear elevations, and it would be very, very straightforward because we've done all the donkey work already. So that's about it for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was a little bit complex, and I know it dragged on a bit, and I'm really grateful to you if you've stayed on, but there was a big learning curve there. If you have to do elevation plans for anyone, you should understand that you can in fact do them from a photo, and that is scaled reasonably accurate, certainly enough just to replace a window. Not if you were building a house, but for replacing a window, that's absolutely perfect. So all I can say is thank you, and see you on the next video. Bye for now.